Hi, today we're going to be using one of my favourite bits of equipment, the loop band. So if you haven't got one of these, go on Amazon or wherever and get some. Get a selection of tensions. They usually come in a pack of 5. Anyway, very much recommend. Mine today is a heavy or a strong band. So we're going to take ourselves down onto our backs, whichever way feels right for you. And relax your head and shoulders onto the mat. Rest your hands on your rib cage. I'd like you to take a breath in with me first. And then as you exhale, feel the hands become heavier and the ribs gently descending into the mat. You can feel the back of your neck lengthen on the mat and the lower spine lengthen away from the hips. Take another breath with me now. And as you exhale, feel as though your breath is gently breathing your eyes open. Shoulders feel relaxed. The hips feel heavy, and now you might take a second to shuffle the shoulders away from the hips, now that the spine has had a moment to elongate and release. Take your band, and we're going to wrap it around the thighs, just above the knees. Once it's here, take your feet down to the floor and open the feet just a little bit wider than hip distance today, so not your classic bridge position. We're going to take the arms wide with the palms facing up and relax the shoulders. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, we're going to start to stretch the band with the thighs, opening the knees gently and slowly into the band, feeling how the back of the hip bones start to draw towards the sacrum, towards the tailbone. And then as you breathe in, let the knees come closer together. But we're going to keep a little bit of tension left on the band. Exhale, and as you open the knees, decide which side is firing up quicker. Which side is working harder? Which side are you finding it easier to control? It might take a few more repetitions to figure that one out. While you're doing that, think about pressing the balls of the big toes gently into the mat so that you get a little bit of a connection through the arch of the feet and into the glutes. So we're going to take it here, stretch the band, hold it here, just with your right thigh, pulse out into the band 5 times. 4, 3, 2, always keeping the ball of the big toe connected. 1, keep the band gently stretched with the right, and this time the left pulses out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now if you're anything like me, and you probably are, one side was easier than the other. So go to the side that was more difficult. We're going to do an extra 5 there. And again, 5, 4, nice deep slow squeeze. Remember the ball of the big toe. And there's our last one there. Nice work. Bring the heels a little bit closer together now. The feet are still lined up. The shoulders still nice and relaxed. Take a slow deep breath into the body. And now as you exhale, start to tuck the tail between the legs, pointing the hip bones towards the face. We're slowly peeling the spine away from the floor for our first bridge. As the hips rise, the shoulder blades take the weight. The back of the neck is nice and relaxed and loose. Hold it here. 5 little pulses out, please. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. So from here, raise your right foot away from the ground. We're going to bring the knee towards the chest just a little bit. We're keeping the left hip nice and stable. See how this feels. If this feels okay to you, we're going to stretch out the right leg and join me. Exhale as the ankle flexes and we press the heel towards the sky. Inhale as you point the toe and lower the leg towards the floor. You're going to carry on just like this if it works for you. We're doing 5 on this side. If that didn't feel great, we're going to leave the feet on the floor and just gently tip the hips from east to west, feeling as though the pelvis is seesawing just ahead of you. Good. So for those of us doing our leg stretch, we're going to add a double kick here at the top. 1, 2, and lower the leg. Really trying to use the abs to resist the weight of the band. 1, 2, and there's our last one. We're going to slide the heel back in line with its friend. Make sure that the hips are even. Pressing both hips into the air, raise your left foot now. See if this feels okay to you. If it does, we're going to lengthen the leg, take a breath in, and as you exhale, slowly kick the heel to the sky, stretching the band. As you inhale, the leg slides through the air, back down to the floor. And again, you've got 5 of these to do. You can carry on. If you prefer to keep your feet on the floor, keep a little stretch on the band. We're going to raise one heel, and then the other, and then the other, and keep going while our friends continue with their leg stretch. So this time, let's go for a double kick. 1, 2, thinking about the length to the back of the leg. Lowering down with control, making sure that right hip is still powerful and lifted. And now, we can slide the heels back, lower the hips with control, and bring the knees into the chest for a rest. Take a little circle here, just a few circles in each direction, loosening up the sacroiliac joints and gently mobilize the lumbar spine. Reverse your circles for me now. So the thing I love about the loop band is that you can do all sorts of asymmetric kind of balancing training with it. So that's what we're going to do now for the next section. Take the band around the foot of the left leg and around the shin of the right leg. Then we're going to lower the left foot to the floor, and you can feel that in order to lift the right leg, you're going to have to do a little bit of work. Not only that, but the right hip is being plunged into the mat, rotating the pelvis to the right. So let that happen. Take a breath in for me. And then as you breathe out, press the right hip away from the floor, drop the left hip into the floor, and stretch the band with the right shin. We're going to do that twice more, breathing in as the hip drops, that seesaw movement with the pelvis, and breathing out as we press the knee back up to the sky. The knee is so level that you could balance a cup of tea on it if you wanted to. We're back to tea. We're going to press the knee up for the last time, a full deep exhale here, using your right tummy muscles to resist the band. And then to release, bring the knees into the chest. Awesome. So a very simple change here. Take the band, instead of the right shin, it's going to go around the right thigh. The hands will be back to where they were, palms facing up. The right knee is over the hip. The right hip is plunging to the floor a little, so we're going to lift that. Exhale as you now press the left foot into the band, using your left glutes. The right knee stays still, the legs line up, and you stop here. Keep exhaling out every drop of air. And then on your inhale, slowly return the left knee towards the chest. We've got 2 more just like this. Exhale, thinking about squashing a grape underneath the left side of your hip. Thinking about pressing your teacup on the right kneecap up to the sky. Breathe in as you return the knee to the chest. And here's our last one. A deep exhale. Get rid of every drop of air from the body. Use your pelvic floor, your deep core, your rib cage, diaphragm. And we're ready to release. Well done. So we're going to take the band and bring the feet back down to the floor. I'm going to take both of your knees over to the left side of the mat now and take hold of your right foot. I just want to stretch off that right quad because it's feeling a little bit tight on me after all of that work. Cool. If you can't get hold of this foot, then don't worry. This twist should give you the stretch that you need. Nice. So we can return the knees back to the center, bring the knees back to the chest. The band wraps around the foot of the right leg and around the shin of the left leg. The right foot comes to the ground, the left knee has its teacup, the left hip plunges into the mat, and the hips seesaw to the left. Take a breath in for me now. As you breathe out, squash your grape under the right hip. The left knee pushes to the sky to resist the band. Breathing in as the hip sinks, but don't let the left thigh roll out to the side. Remember, don't spill your tea. Exhale again, pressing the knee back up to the sky, using the left side of the tummy and the right glutes to really balance the pelvis and the lower spine. Here's our last one like this. Wonderful. Did you hear that click? That was quite good. Okay, we're going to release, bring the knees back to the chest. Going for our easy change. The band goes around the left thigh, still around the right foot, arms back to where they were. Left knee over the hip, take a breath, And as you exhale, the right glute switch on to press the right knee back in line with the left. Hold it here, feel the lower spine balance. Keep exhaling, exhaling until every drop is gone. And then breathe in, the right knee returns to where it was. Exhale, left tummy muscles switch on now so that they resist the band as you push the right foot into the band. Lovely, we're nearly there. If you feel your left hip flexors are getting a little bit angry with you, really focus on engaging the tummy muscles. That will take the strain away from the hip flexors. Hold it here. Exhale, exhale, exhale. And return. Well done. So we can take the band around the thighs once more. Lower the feet to the floor. We're going to roll both knees towards the right side of the room and then reach down for the left foot and give the quad a little stretch. In the next section of this, we're going to be using the other side of the leg, so we'll get a lot of relief there in a minute. Awesome. So you can turn towards me, roll onto your side. We're going to set up the band first, so it's going to be around the thigh of the lower leg and around the foot of the top leg. So we've got that. Once you're there, lie yourself down onto the upper arm, and if you don't like this position, you could put a foam roller here instead. The lower knee is going to be in line with the hip. So you've got a right angle on the hip joint. You've got a right angle on the lower knee joint. That's important. Okay. We're going to lift the waist away from the floor, and I think we're probably all ready now. We're going to stretch the band with the top leg until the top leg is totally straight. We haven't got a single kink on the front of the leggings. The glutes are switched on. We take a breath in as we slide the hip into the waist and flatten the lower waist into the mat. This is our hip hike. We breathe out as we stretch the band, pressing the hip away from the thigh and pressing the hip away from the ribs, opening up this part of the spine. Breathe in as you let the waist collapse and slide the hip into the waist. And again, a little bit more power this time, really feeling the glutes working harder than the hamstrings. And a breath in as we slide the hip to the waist. Here's our last one. Feel the hip pressing away from the ribs. Hold it here. Now we're going to bend the knee so that the knees come side by side. Breathe in. Breathe out, the hip is still hiked away from the waist as we stretch the band all the way to the end. Awesome, we've got 5 of these. Now, of course, we're using the back of the leg on the top leg, but you can still feel the tummy muscles working on the lower leg to resist the band, so we can really think about that. And this is why stretching the band on our exhale is going to be awesome, because we're going to use the exhale to engage the tummy, the glutes, the pelvic floor. Coming up for our last one, might have been 6, I'm not sure. I'm looking behind the camera for some advice. He doesn't know either, but hey, that's fine. We're going to bring the knees back together. Well done. Okay, simple change. We're just going to take the band around the top knee as well. So it's around the lower thigh, the top foot, and the top knee. Once it's there, the whole leg lifts. The whole leg lowers. Oh, the waist is still lifted from the ground. Exhale, balance a cup of tea on your knee and your ankle so that they stay lovely and level. If you've got a really strong band, you don't have to lift the leg very high. If you've got quite a loose band, just make sure that you don't take the leg so high that the top hip rolls back. Coming up for our last one, here comes our bonus round. Relax if you want to, or join me. Circle the whole leg. 3, 2, you have my sympathy. 1, I hope I have yours. Reverse for 3, 2, 1, and we're all done. Beautiful. You can take the band off altogether. Okay, so we'll come back to the band in a second. I just want to give us a little stretch. Take the top knee in front of the lower knee. Take the lower hand over the top knee, and your top hand is free to wave at me. We're going to circle the top arm towards me, breathing in. And then as you breathe out, roll back on the mat, open up the waist, giving that top glute a little bit of a stretch. Let's do that circle twice more, breathing in as you stretch to me, and out as we circle away. Nice. Cool. So take yourself up to sitting now. We're going to take the top ankle and cross it over the lower knee and just continue with our little twist by bringing the knee towards the chest and taking a look over the shoulder. What was your top hip is now just going to melt into the mat to finish off the stretch. Lovely. Okay, so we can untangle ourselves, come onto the other side. We know that to begin, we need to wrap the band around the lower thigh and the top foot. So once you've got that, we can lie ourselves down onto the side. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to move my mic pack around a little bit. There we go. So that's a little bit easier for me. Okay, so we've got the lower knee in line with the hip. Right angle and right angle. The top leg is lifted with the band around the foot. We're going to stretch the leg all the way out to the end of the mat. The front of the leg is completely flat. The glutes are switched on already. We're resisting with the lower abs. The waist is lifted. Take a breath in as you slide the hip into the waist. A breath out as we stretch the band away, still keeping the leg away from the floor here. So we've still got some work on the outer thigh. Breathing in as we slide hip to waist, flattening the lower waist to the ground. Exhale as you stretch the band and really feel the top side of the waist and the ribs really opening up. Nice. Coming up for our last hip hike here. So we press the hip away from the ribs, hold that position, keep this section open. Now bend your knee towards yourself until the knees are level with each other, like you're stepping up onto a big step or a big box. Exhale as we stretch the leg away, using that exhale to activate the tummy muscles to resist the band. Again, breathing in, knee comes towards you, keep the knees level with each other, keep the knee level with its heel so that you could balance your cup of tea on each. The top hand is nice and supportive. The torso is totally still. Now, I am pretty certain that we did 6 on the other side. I'll run this back and check, but I'm pretty certain we did 6. So we've just got 2 more to go. Nice. And it is the last one that is the killer, isn't it? Here we go. Lovely work. So let's bring the knees back together. Let's take the band around the top thigh as well. So we have lower thigh, top foot. Cup of tea on knee and heel. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, waist lifts away from the ground and we lift the entire leg away from the floor. Nice. Bring it down with control so you're still working those muscles even on the down phase. Think about how the pelvic floor works to help you to lift. Drawing the sit bones together, breathing in as you come down. Lovely, here comes our last 2. It's making me breathless. We're going to hold it here at the top. Bonus round. Let's circle the entire leg. 3. 2. And 1. And reverse with me. 3. Remember, I can't hear any rude words you're saying at the camera, at the screen, so go ahead. I would be if I were in your shoes. And that's our last one. Oh, lovely. We can take the band away and have a little treat. Okie dokes. So top knee comes forward, lower hand takes the knee. Take a breath in as you reach your top arm towards me as we circle the arm away for 3. And 2. And our last one. Feel free to let out a sigh or a yawn or whatever releases your tension. Good work. Lovely. We can push ourselves all the way up to sitting on the hip. Take the top ankle and cross it over. Take a little twist towards the knee, look over the shoulder, and that top hip now just gently melts into the mat like quicksand. Nice. So we're going to unravel ourselves. We've got a little bit more work to do on the legs later, but I'm going to give your legs a break. You can come to a kneeling position, kneeling tall, or sitting, whatever you feel comfortable with, or even standing. We're going to take the band and with your right hand, slide it into the band, palm facing down. With your left hand, slide it into the band, palm facing up. Simple. The right arm is going to straighten towards the floor, and you're going to shove the right shoulder away from the ear. So we're already working the mid-back. Your left arm is going to bend, bring the hand towards the chest, working the biceps, resisting with the triceps. Breathe in as you bring that left knuckle back down towards the floor. Breathe out, unshrug the right shoulder, bring left hand to the chest. Doesn't look like much, but with a nice strong band, this really works. The entire back, the shoulder complex, stabilizing the rib cage. It's really nice. Work with your breath now, breathing in as the arm comes down. A deep exhale to help you to pull that right shoulder down and away, really activating the lats. We've got one more to go. Beautiful. Okay, we can change sides, nice and easy. The left palm faces down, the right palm faces up. Left arm straight, unshrug the shoulder. A breath in to prepare, a breath out, bend the right elbow, getting my lefts and rights, and inhale as it comes down. Now try and keep your collarbones nice and wide, your neck nice and long. Feel stable between the knees as well, however you're standing. Stable left to right. Our last two here. We're going to keep that right elbow glued into the waist, still really using the back on the left side of the body. And there's our last one. Awesome. Slide both hands into the band now, both palms facing up. Elbows glued to the waist, take a breath in. As you exhale, the collarbones widen. The shoulder blades squeeze together, and only then do you feel a little resistance on the band. It's a tiny movement. Breathe in as you release. Another 4 like this. As you stretch the band, draw the rib cage in, press out every drop of air from the body. Double check that you're not sticking your bottom out. Think about the core engaging as you press the hands out. We're coming up for our last one now. Amazing. So, the palms face down. The arms come up and over the shoulders. Palms are facing me. Breathe in as you bend your elbows, slide the band behind the back of the head. Breathe out as you stretch the arms back up and over the shoulders, keeping shoulders away from the ears. Arms nice and long, band stretched all the time. Breathe in as you draw the elbows down, just in line with the shoulders, and exhale as you stretch, keeping the rib cage drawn in, tail tucked between the legs. Another 3 like this. Yes, we can definitely feel triceps, especially on the way up here. Try not to shrug the shoulders. Think about the shoulder blades sliding down the back. So good for our postural muscles. Here comes our last one here. Try and have equal pressure on each side of the band. Nice work. And we can release. Good. So it's good that our arms are warmed up now, because we're going to come back to our legs. We're going to take the band around the calves now. I'm going to give you an option for the next move. You could either do the move lying down like this with your forehead on your hands. That's going to make it easier for those of you with any shoulder issues. Or you could join me for the more advanced version, where we're coming into our full plank. Cool. So the band is wrapped around the calves. We've chosen our position. If you're in plank, your shoulders, hips and heels are all in line. We'll all take a breath in together, and then as you exhale, the closest toe to me points. The closest leg to me lifts. So we stretch the band, tuck the tail between the legs and pulse the leg up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it here, stretched. Pulse the leg out to the side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. that foot can come down. We can take a little rest. Those of us in plank, sit back to child's pose. Make a fist with your knuckles and rev your motorbike. Nice. We can take the palms back to the floor, take ourselves back into our plank. Knees lift. Take a breath in to prepare. The furthest toe from me points. And exhale as we pulse the leg up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep it stretched, pulse out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the foot can come down. The knees can bend. We can sit back to our child's pose. Give our motorbike one more little rev. Beautiful. Okay, coming to my favorite move now. We're going to come onto our elbow onto the side. Now make sure that the elbow is underneath the ribs and not underneath the shoulder right now. The top leg is straight and the band is still around the calves. We're going to press the hips up into the air into our side bend position and take the top arm and reach it over the shoulder. We're taking a breath in to prepare, and as we breathe out, we're going to lift the top arm and leg into our star. Only this time we've got the band to make it a little bit more difficult. The arm and leg just go to 45 degrees to the floor. Breathe in as they come down. Another 4 like this. You can take your gaze up to your fingers as you lift. Nice. Keeping the hips nice and high, really using the glutes on the lower side of the body. And here's our last one. Awesome work. Come down to sitting. We can take hold of the ankles and gently reach that lower arm up and over the shoulder and into our mermaid. Lovely. Coming onto the other side now, and just bring the legs over to the other end of the mat. I'll reclip myself and come down onto your elbow now with your elbow underneath the rib cage. Cool. Band is still around the calves. Top leg straightens. We'll take a breath in, and as we breathe out, glutes, waist and ribs activate to take us into our side bend. A breath in to prepare. And a breath out as we stretch the band to our first star. Think about how the shoulder works to lift that arm. Breathing in as the arm and leg come down. Now remember, if we lift the arm too high, then we lose some of the benefit of the exercise. So just 45 degrees, please. Here comes our last 3. And there we go. We're going to bring ourselves all the way back to the mat. Take hold of the ankles, reach what was the lower arm up and over the shoulder, and take a stretch into mermaid. Now, take that hand back down to the mat. We're going to turn long ways on the mat. We're going to take the band around both feet. Good. Those of you with a diastasis, you're going to follow me, and those of you without, you can join in for this as well for the moment. We're going to exhale as the tail tucks between the legs. We're using the support of the band so that we can not overwork the tummy muscles. We're going to hold it here. Exhale again as you row the band towards your chest, and inhale to lengthen the arms. That's your move. If you prefer something spicier, the feet can lift away from the floor. Let me just get myself level. Once we're here, we're going to exhale as we roll the spine into the mat, lowering the spine bone by bone. The legs straighten over the hips. We go into rollover, bringing the thighs over the chest. Take a breath in here. The arms are nice and long. As you exhale, roll the spine gently back into the mat. As the spine comes down, as the hips come down, the knees bend. Pick up your head and shoulders and stretch your legs up and into your teaser, nicely supported by the band. The knees bend. Roll your way back down into the floor. The legs straighten at the last moment to take them up and over the shoulders, over the chest. Take a breath here And as you exhale, roll spine back into the mat, knees bend, press the feet into the band to come all the way up to your teaser. Good, you guys have got it. Those of you with the diastasis still rowing, I'm pausing you here. Wrap the band around your thighs, open up the knees slightly. You're exhaling as you take a twist towards me and inhaling to the center. Exhaling as you take a twist. Those of you who are still doing your teaser, we're coming up for our last one, rolling ourselves all the way down to the mat. Exhale as you return, perhaps even with straight legs, this time for our last little glory move. And then everybody knees bend. Well done. So the band is still around the feet. We're going to lengthen the legs. Maybe we need the band for this, but maybe we don't. We're going to take a breath in. And as you exhale, gently fold forward, opening up the back of the body, reaching for the feet or for the toes, feeling a beautiful stretch from the shoulders, through the ribs, lower back, hips, hamstrings and calves. Nice. Slowly roll your way back up to sitting and